Hey, so today I'm just going to be showing you how to create a simple lead capture and qualification module using these three basic simple n8n workflows. So first one is a CRM normalizer that basically takes messy input information into a form and then puts it into a more organized format, breaking things down like full name into first name and last name, so on and so forth. A lead scoring automation, basically going in and injecting your own rules to score a lead based on whether it's cold, warm, or hot. And then auto responding, just a basic auto responder that takes information like their name to personalize an email to actually send to somebody. You can take everything here and modify it to be a little bit more intelligent, but this is like the foundation basic blocks for how you want to do something like this. So for a little bit quick demonstration, we're just going to go into automation form and fill in some easy information box .com phone number. The rest I just have some more information over here, just a random phone number, something like box automations, role, owner, founder, automate and workflows. What can we help you with? Automating workflows, briefly describe what you're looking for. Automate lead nurturing workflow, for example. Right now we're doing it manually. Let's say $1,000 to $3,000. How soon you want it done? ASAP. Yes, can we contact you? Yes, you can. Cool. So now that I've submitted the form, it's going to go into a Google Sheets that is linked up to my Google Forms. This is nothing to do with n8n workflows. This is just something that you can do with Google. So I have it linked up to this workflow. So now everything that I've inputted has been inputted into here. So we have the Gmail, we have the phone number, box automations. Notice how we have everything. It's kind of messy. It's not in the form that we want it to be. We want it to be in these, first name, last name, email, company name, and then kind of just pull out any important information along with our calculated lead score at the end. So going into n8n workflow, we can just basically run this entire automation and then see what happens. Cool. So we ran our automation. So it's Google Sheets trigger, and let's see. Yeah, we were able to output the entire thing into our cleaned up database. So Khalil, Lawrence-Boxx, if it was any capitalized letters or any misspellings or any cases that just were hard to read, it would add those in. It cleaned up the formatting, added the role, and then used our, AI agent, or I guess our n8n workflow to, determine whether the calculator was a cold lead or a hot lead or warm lead, see what kind of intent it was, took out the actual, the intent of the message to basically say, was it quoting, was it sales, was it this, found the form of it, found the source. So in case you have multiple forms like on ads or Google form or your website, it could find out what those are. And then lead status, it's new. So obviously it should all be new. There shouldn't be any duplicates just because we have that duplicate run out over there. And if you look into my email, this basic email was sent right here saying, hey, thanks for reaching out. Just, hey, Khalil. So it took my first name. Thanks for reaching out. Just received your request. I'm reviewing the details now. If you need any clarification, I'll reply shortly. Either way, I'll be in touch soon. Thanks a bunch, Khalil. And then this email was sent automatically with n8n. You should be able to turn that off. Whoops. Just pop that back open. You should be able to turn that off in the options. Append n8n attribution, you can just turn that off just so it doesn't do that, just so they don't see that it's from n8n. They don't see that it's an automated reply. So in your Google Sheets trigger, you just have a basic trigger that links to the Google form or the Google Sheets you want to apply to. So the place we're applying to the raw form and we're taking the raw responses. After that, we're putting in a code in JavaScript to take out this unorganized information and basically turn it into a way that's organized. You can basically just ask ChatGPT to find the standard way to be putting this information in, or the standard way to be standardizing this information, for lack of a better term, and then it'll give you this code that you can use to kind of turn it into a way that kind of spits out like properly. So for example, adding the 1 in front of the 647, so on and so forth, breaking up the name so it has first name and last name, adding an ID to the lead, doing the role, and then doing the rest of the calculations down the line. For the calculating score for a cold lead, we just gave it some basic rules. So you don't need to do an AI for everything. You can just have some basic, case rules for things that are a little bit more clear. And then as you want to get more, nuanced, more deeper understanding, you can have AI do a little bit of interpretation. So basically how you prompt it will give it a lot of context to how things should work. And it basically just has a scoring method. So ASAP is plus 30 points. If they're an owner, they're plus 25 because you usually want a decision maker. This is set up with the needs. So it's like now, what they currently have, decision maker, things like that. It's from a book called Tom Hopkins, The Art of Selling. I don't have it on me right now, but maybe I can pull it up. Basically a formula for qualifying buyers. See if I can pull it up.
If you're serious.
Actually, maybe I just put it in the description. But basically, it's just a way to qualify buyers. So you basically want the decision maker. You want to know what product they're using right now. You want to know what they like about the product. And then you want to know how soon they are to be changing to something new. So you basically use, I had ChatGPT also make this up. You basically just give it everything an arbitrary score based off of what you think is most important. Obviously, if they want an ASAP, then that's something that, you know, it's really, you know, it shows that they're willing to buy right now. You take everything, you add it up, and then you give it a score. And then based on that, you have AI or you have the n8n workflow spit out what it thinks the lead is: cold, warm, or hot. Those are the only two coding parts. You can ideally change these or add in an AI workflow if you want to make things more intelligent. But for now, if you can just add a couple set of rules, you can actually do a pretty good job. There's actually an article where somebody made an AI chatbot where basically it was based just off of code. Just a bunch of like, not if statements, but a bunch of like cases where, you know, if the person says this, then use this. And the person that was actually using, and I think it was in the 90s, and the people that were actually conversing with this agent actually were under the impression that this was actually a real human being. So the person did a good job based off of just code alone. You don't always need ChatGPT because, you know, ChatGPT is just like a better version of that. But obviously, if you don't prompt it right, you won't get the same result. Now, next we are getting the rows in this. So we're taking the calculated score and we're injecting them into the rows for the raw data. After that, we're checking the duplicates. So we're looking at our clean data, and then we're looking at our clean sheet and then our raw sheet, and we're seeing, you know, is this email, and we're using a key identifier, so with an email, to see if it's already there. If it's already there, skip this. If not, add the new file, which it did because this was empty. It added the new file for this person and then added them into our database, and then append the row in the sheet, and then send the auto response message. If I try to run this again, you know, it's not going to output anything because it's already there. So it checks the duplicate case. It sees that there's already a duplicate of this, so it won't run through, and it's just going to stop this thing from going on. Now, this is basically the result of 3 basic workflows. So the CRM normalizer, the code, get row, seeing if it's a duplicate, again, new lead trigger, calculate the score, get the row, updating the lead, and then Google Sheets trigger, sending the mail, and then logging the email. So a good step would be adding another step in here where you log the email just so you can see the correspondence happening between the AI and the person. And then also you can add things like a task manager. So basically if you're using something like Monday.com or Asana and you want to have any of these inputs trigger some sort of workflow in Monday.com or any project management software, that would be the next step. Or having a next step where it basically moves the person over. So I know in my email I said, hey, I'll get back to you in a bit. Basically, I would have a wait module that says, hey, wait this amount of time, and then move on to another email to kind of make it look like a real person, where it reviews the information and then makes a link. Have it basically, the workflow would check your existing email schedule using Google Calendar or Calendly or whatever you want to use, and then suggesting a time slot saying, hey, let's push for a meeting. And then having some reminder, so an auto response to basically say, hey, you know, we should push for a meeting. And then if they agree to the meeting, having like set up some reminders for them. After the meeting, having something that captures the transcript for that meeting and automatically makes a quote, and something like PandaDoc, where you basically just use template literals or I guess like square brackets to delineate the information you want to be changed out by the AI. Have it automatically send a quote, have it automatically create the task in Monday.com, and then so on and so forth. With this basic kind of template, you can kind of branch off in so many different directions. Auto responding, you know, creating the Google Calendar link, you know, having an SMS thing set out, having a Monday.com thing set out. This is just the basics and basically what I wanted to show you before moving on to more complex things. So that's the flow. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want me to, if there's something I didn't explain properly, let me know. If there are any gaps in my knowledge, you can also feel free to drop a comment down below. Let me know what I could change. And yeah, that's basically it. If you want the JSON, you can also let me know as well. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you saw that you can, like, it doesn't really take too much to create something that basically you can build off of in so many different directions. Even having this just auto respond to that trigger was a super duper huge, and you can customize the email or add another AI agent either here, or here, just to make things more personalized using the data that was already given to us. It's a lot easier when you have a form where people are confined to setting certain basic fields versus when somebody just writes an email where it's free form. In that case, you need a lot more edge cases because anybody can say anything in a form like that. So you have to be a little bit more, you know, maybe you have to be a little more engineering involved with making something like that. But for something like a Google form, very, very simple. Anyways, thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have an amazing day. Cheers and take care. Bye-bye.